My kitchen today is December 2nd, '08. There are not too many odds left, are there? I can show you in 5 minutes what is in the American Constitution. Oh, I'll put it to 5 minutes and using these as props, I would like to tell you that Article 1 contains information about the Congress. And in fact, Article 1 occupies fully a half of the whole Constitution. And that would tell you, and I'm trying to demonstrate by the large size of the item, that the legislature is the main event in the Constitution. Next we have Article 2 is the executive. And this was the smallest one I had available. It should be even smaller. We should have a little franca like that, because in the Constitution, the president gets almost no power. He's like a clerk. He carries out the job that the lawmakers tell him to do. Then we have Article 3, which is the Supreme Court, and it's also other federal courts down to the district level that are under the Supreme Court, but they are really established by Congress, not by Article 3 of the Constitution. Article 4 is the states. Now, you often hear that checks and balances are, especially these two, balance the power between the legislature and the presidency, but also the court. But we don't often hear that the states are another factor in the Constitution that requires, that is a power sharing. So the states have quite a bit of power. In fact, they don't use today much of their power. It seems as if the governors of the states don't even know the states have power. And I've put 12 of them here because on the original signing of the Constitution, there would have been 13 colonies, but Rhode Island couldn't quite make up its mind, so it didn't sign. So here we have, just think of going right up the coast from Georgia. Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Delaware. No, we won't do Rhode Island, so Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Maine was part of Massachusetts. And there should have been number 12 for Rhode Island, and there isn't, and the reason for that really is not to do with the late signing, but the fact that I only have 12 spoons. So, why do I choose spoons for the states? Because that's something I have 12 of. Why do I choose this for the Supreme Court? Well, you've got to go with the utensils you have. Now, Article 1 is about this. Article 2 is about the presidency, 3 the courts. Article 4 of the Constitution tells what the states can and cannot do. For example, can they, 2 of them join into one state, or could California split up? The answer you'll find in number 4 is California could do that if it got the permission of Congress, which means all the other states. Right. Article 5 is about amending, so I'm rendering this as a cut and tape thing, where after the Constitution was signed in 1787, from that moment on, anyone wanting to amend it would have to, you could take some of it out, you could add some in, but you would need 3/4 of the states to ratify it. So, just as there are checks and balances of power of states, the people also are a very great power in the Constitution, because they can change the Constitution. So that's Article 5. Article 6, come back to that in a minute. Article 7, I have a pen here because, you know, we used to put it in the ink. Baby boomers, remember that? When they signed, Article 7 said, and from this moment, if you sign, and the first name is George Washington and about 30 others, from that moment, we will send it out to the states for ratification, and if 9 out of the then 12 states want in, the Constitution starts to go into force, and it did. So that's 7. I skipped 6. 6 is kind of a slightly miscellaneous article, but it contains 2 important things. One is the oath of office, not just the president, that's mentioned in Article 2, but every, say, military officer, every state senator, every member of the government, both federal level and state level, must take an oath of office to uphold the federal Constitution. They also have their state constitutions, but so this too is like a checks and balance against the power of the states. So the state can't just do anything it wants, it must uphold